Ohio State gets a legendary win against Texas, and wow, that was incredible. That was a game that you really saw the talent that was on the field through and through. You really saw the talent, and the score, the final score of 28-14, does not indicate how close of a game that was. That was an all-time battle. That was an all-time battle of two elite teams, and if you look at it, both teams had moments where they kind of gave things away or they didn't capitalize on moments. You saw that from both teams. But there was just incredible stretches in that game. Like you talk about the end of the first half where Texas scores all the momentum and you could feel that was a road game for Ohio State. You could feel the presence of that Texas stadium. It was they said it was 70-30. It sounded like more like 80-20 in there. You could feel the presence of that Texas crowd, that Texas stadium. And when they scored with like 29 seconds left in that first half, I think a lot of people on the OSU side were saying, this is not good. And then Travion Henderson makes up for the unsportsmanlike penalty that he had earlier and has a ridiculous touch. And that's what it's crazy too, because that's the first touchdown that he ever had at Ohio State was a very similar play to that of like 4 years ago now against Minnesota. Very similar play, screen pass. They rarely do it for some reason. I don't know why. Every time they do the screen pass to Travion Henderson, it seems to do really well, but takes it all those yards, gets a crazy touchdown. That flipped momentum. But then you went into the second half and you had that bad interception by Will Howard. And it was a really bad third quarter for Ohio State. Bad decisions. Bad decisions with play calling. I don't know why and they finally ended up doing it. I don't know why they don't just run Will Howard on that short distance. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, especially and they did when it eventually did pay off and they did run him. They did for whatever reason they won't do the QB sneak with him. Even when they got that last touchdown before the obviously the big play, when they went up 21-14, they for whatever reason wouldn't QB sneak him. They handed the ball off to Judkins. I think Judkins had a pretty good game today, 2 TDs, carried the load for him. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith in this one was covered. He was covered well. He was doubled a lot of the game. They put their best secondary guy on him. It makes sense. Emeka Ibuka stepped up with some big plays. Carnell Tate had that early bad drop. But other than that, he had a pretty phenomenal game. And you look at it, and it's coming down to the wire. There's 2 pass interference calls on Ohio State. And Jack Sawyer, just unbelievable. 83 yards in the heart of Texas, just strip sacks his former teammate and roommate in Quinn Ewers and takes it 83 yards for an Ohio State touchdown that all but sealed the deal. And it was just really incredible. Ohio State wins the Cotton Bowl, and they're going to play for a national championship now. And that was just every time Ohio State and Texas play each other, it's been great games, and this one delivered. And I think when you look back at it, you're going to say the score was just, it doesn't indicate what kind of game this was. This really could have went either way. There was a lot of moments in that second half where it looked like Texas had that game. Looked like they had it. But Ohio State, they persevered. They kept going. What an incredible comeback story this has become for Ohio State. Just continuing to prove people wrong, win these. And I know a lot of people had them in this game, but it's still ridiculous just where they were, where that program was, where the fan base was after that Michigan game. For them to turn it around and be in the national championship game and have in my opinion, a very, very good shot to win the national championship. It's an incredible story. It's really an incredible story that shows just really how you can turn things around. But Ohio State's going to play Notre Dame. I project it's probably going to be the most televised college football game ever. Notre Dame, Ohio State in a national championship game, that's going to get numbers. That's going to get ridiculous numbers. But going back to that Jack Sawyer play that he had, where does that rank all time in Ohio State plays? It's up there. It's up there in all-time plays, I think. I think the number one of recent, obviously, is that Ezekiel Elliott play against Alabama in 2014. But, and then you have Holy Buckeye from the 2002 team. But if you look at this, I mean, has to be up there with them. It just has to be. What a play. What it meant, the statement. 2 bowls in 1 year for Ohio State, Rose Bowl, Cotton. They've had the toughest road. They had to play Tennessee, Oregon, the number 1 undefeated team, and then a team that we knew going into the year how talented Texas was. There was never a discrepancy with how talented Texas was. They were the most talented team in the country from jump. From jump. We knew that. I thought Georgia had a lot of guys. At the time, I thought Carson Beck was a first-round quarterback. Obviously, he played himself out of that role, and now he ends up transferring to Miami. But Texas was always in the conversation, and Ohio State stacked up against them and got an incredible win. And it's an incredible win for Ohio State. They got to move on to Notre Dame. They'll play Monday. It's next Monday. It's just incredible. It was an incredible game. Really, really scary game on if you're an Ohio State fan on that side, or if you're a Texas. It was a sweat of a game, as some people will say in some terms. It was just really head scratching. A lot of anxiety was in the game, but Ohio State finds a way to win. I thought Will Howard played a really good game, and I said from early on, Will Howard has been exactly what this Ohio State team needed. Kyle McCord didn't have the leadership. I don't think he's anywhere near the player that Will Howard is. Will Howard, the biggest knock on him is sometimes he gets a little reckless with the ball, throws some bad passes that lead to interception. But other than that, he's been a tremendous leader for them. He's came in, he's done great. How about Caleb Downs finally getting that interception? He had like 3 of them that he dropped in the Oregon game. So he finally broke through, got that big interception, finished the job. But I think this is an extremely impressive win for Ohio State. I think it'll be underlooked at because everybody had Ohio State winning this game. But to go into Texas, in Dallas, and beat this particular Texas team in that stadium with that fan base going crazy, with all that talent, it's a great win. Like, think about if it's reversed in a hypothetical scenario. Imagine this game is played in like Ohio or Cleveland or somewhere like relatively close to us. Texas wouldn't have stood a chance. But their crowd really helped them. I think they have a really talented team. But at the end of the day, Ohio State found a way to win this game, and now it's on to the national championship game. I'm excited to cover that throughout the next week. It's not every year. I mean, they went in 2020, they played Alabama, but they haven't won the national championship in about 10 years. And they have an opportunity now. They have an opportunity to get another national championship, and it looked dire after that Michigan game, but they found a way to turn around. I got to give Ryan Day his props. He's figured it out. And I think a lot of it's that team, just their resilience, what they've been able to do. That Michigan game, that struck a nerve with them. That changed them. They were embarrassed. These are a lot of people on this team. They don't know what they probably had not known what it was truly like to be embarrassed in these stages of their football careers. And they got embarrassed, and they answered the bell, they answered the call, and now they're playing for a national championship, 1 win away for Ohio State. Incredible stuff. They beat Texas in the Cotton Bowl 28-14. They are the Cotton Bowl champs. On to the Natty.